Okay, I have to be honest with you. When the Good Night Good Luck update released, I thought this was the best update for Dying Light 2, but I was proven wrong because this new community update might be better than the previous in terms of quality of life improvements because some basic features from Dying Light were added. One of these features being the new weapon repair system. Yes, that's right, we finally don't need a weapon charm to repair our weapons. Now, whenever you go to any craftmaster, there will be a window dedicated to repairing weapons. For a small fee of crafting materials, your weapon will be fully refurbished and ready to destroy biters once more. The good news is that you can repair your weapons an infinite amount of times, which makes this system better than in Dying Light, because back in the day the maximum amount of repairs was 6. The only downside to this feature is that you can't repair weapons yourself, but that doesn't really matter because you get to this craftmaster in like 2 minutes. One thing I want to mention is that the cost for repairing a weapon is always the same, which is kind of strange because a weapon that lost 1 durability will require the same amount of crafting materials as a weapon that's newly destroyed. Because of the new weapon repair system, the Korek charm was changed and now grants plus 25% damage increase when your durability is really low. Speaking of crafting materials, we now have more ways to get them, because it is possible to disassemble armor and even weapon mods. Disassembling armor is pretty obvious. The only thing I will mention is that you will mostly get rags and resin from these types of items. Meanwhile, disassembling weapon mods is a huge deal because we finally have a way to swap out different modifications to try out different types of elemental damage. Another way of getting crafting materials will be by disassembling your enemy's weapons, as now whenever you fight a enemy like the Peacekeepers or Renegades, upon defeating them you can actually pick up their melee weapons, which makes a lot of sense and should have been in the game since the very beginning. Now don't go too far away from the Craftmaster just yet, because he has yet another new window related to legend level points. Now you can exchange infected trophies for legend XP, and I really like this change because now you can not only farm legend levels more efficiently, but infected trophies have an actual usage after you've upgraded every single item. While we're on the topic of legend XP and levels, they were also reworked. Now you get much more XP for doing basically anything from fighting, running and completing missions. The legend perks also give a better boost to your damage, and some of them were completely reworked, like the Joker upgrade, which now increases the damage of all your throwables. Which is obviously good, but I would have preferred if this abomination of a skill was changed to be actually useful. But one extremely useful feature is that now you can replay GRE anomalies. Whenever you defeat a Revenant, if you go to a far enough distance, the icon will despawn, and if you then come back, a new GRE Aberration will be available. This mission acts like some sort of challenge, where you have to defeat the GRE anomaly. Of course, now they will be more powerful and sometimes even come with special infected like a Demolisher. Although if you have weapons from the Carnage Hall, they still one-shot everything, so you don't really care. Despite being extremely easy to beat, GRE Aberrations grants some insane rewards. First of all, you got a total of 6000 Legend XP, which already makes GRE Aberrations the best way to farm Legend levels. But that's not all, because you also receive 2 special Pilgrim Crates. The first one gives you a bunch of crafting materials, which isn't all that interesting, but the second Pilgrim Crate can give you extremely powerful weapons and artifact consumables and throwables like military medkits and fully upgraded grenades. This means that by completing GRE Aberrations, you can farm absolutely everything in the game. You get XP in order to upgrade your character, you also get crafting materials that you can use to install new weapon mods or repair your weapons, and on top of all that, you also get some elite weapons and throwables. But this farm becomes even more broken if you consider that you can kill the GRE anomaly in under 20 seconds. I mean, I killed those GRE Aberrations for only 2 minutes and I already filled half of my inventory with new weapons.
That is crazy.
And also your stash is now infinite and you can sort it. I have no idea how this is relevant to this section of the video, but I had to put this information somewhere. But now let's talk about those pilgrim crates in more detail, because they are one of the main ways you'll be getting newly added exotic weapons. First of all, the artifact weapons you get from these chests have unique Peacekeeper style skins, which look pretty cool. This is also one of the few ways you can get the newly added knives. Don't worry, we'll talk about them later. And finally, you can get weapons of exotic quality from these crates. As if legendary weapons weren't powerful enough, we now have something much better. In addition to having bigger damage, exotic weapons always come with a special bonus stat. Unfortunately for now, I've gotten only weapons that have a chance to stun the enemy or do a critical hit, but other people say that these bonus stats also include increased headshot damage or the ability to randomly multiply your damage by 2, which sounds completely broken. Because of their extreme power, these weapons are obviously very rare. In fact, I've opened around 70 pilgrim crates and got only 4 exotic weapons. But if you consider that you can get 10 pilgrim crates after 2 minutes of farming, it's not that bad. As I previously mentioned, 4 knife weapons were added, one of which you can get from the pilgrim chest. As you already noticed, knives have new animations that look extremely cool and satisfying. Like, just look at that, I feel like the spy from Team Fortress now. Yeah, I really need to stop playing this game. Actually, if you really think about it, every single weapon received a new animation because now we have glory kills or finishers. Whenever an enemy stamina gets depleted, you can initiate a glory kill. These finishers are unique for every type of weapon you use, and although they look extremely cool, there is no point in doing them except for the style. In all other games where we had finishers, they were either dealing increased damage or healing the player, but none of this is present in Dying Light 2, which is rather sad because after seeing all finishers multiple times, there is no point in using them anymore. And also 90% of the time the enemy dies before you can deplete their stamina bar, which means that you either have to use very low damage weapons, or finishers are exclusive to the early game where your weapons aren't as powerful, which again isn't all that good. Not only the weapons, but also the enemies were changed. With the Good Night Good Luck update, Howlers became a piece of shit, not very useful, so that's why they were completely reworked. Now they spawn only during the day, and their scream deals damage to you. But that's not the main problem, because this scream attracts nearby biters and virals, making them an actual threat. And I actually really like this, because Howlers are now more similar to Screamers from Dying Light. And I absolutely hate Screamers from Dying Light because they're extremely annoying, so it's good to see them back in Dying Light 2. Another great feature related to biters is that if a zombie is wearing armor and you hit them, your weapon will bounce off them as if they were blocking, which makes these enemies a little bit more difficult. Apparently there are supposed to be new enemy types, more specifically armored or burning virals, but I haven't encountered them at all. The only thing I saw is this random zombie that exploded in green goo. I don't know if you can count this as a new zombie type, but that's everything I have. So that's all the new enemy types. Or is it? No, of course it's not, because we also have the new Halloween event, which happens after Halloween. Great timing. The goal of this event is to collect 3,000 treats, which are dropped by any enemy. Of course, depending on their difficulty, they will drop more. For instance, regular biters drop 1 or 2, meanwhile volatiles drop nearly 100. So by farming volatiles for around 5 minutes, you can easily complete this event. Especially if you consider that Carnage Hall weapons now actually one-shot volatiles, which is perfect for farming. Although toughness boosters were nerfed, because now they don't make you invincible and simply decrease incoming damage by 70%, as was intended by the developers. This Halloween event added many different zombie types. First of all, we have those special pumpkin volatiles. They have more health than regular volatiles, but upon defeating them you get a random effect. These effects were added with the Halloween event. Most of the time they're just goofy and very annoying, but sometimes you can get an effect that increases your range by a very moderate amount, or that increases your movement speed. These are the only positive and actually helpful effects. But it is still worth it to defeat Halloween infected because they drop a lot of treats. Next up we have the Witch Banshee. As you already noticed, these banshees look a lot like hags, but are a bigger size and have more health. What's special about them is that they spawn only during daytime, and in great numbers too, which makes farming banshees easy for a bounty, for example. The last special infected are the Haunted Biters. They are once again taller and healthier than regular biters, and upon death grant you a random Halloween buff. Now let's get to the most interesting part of this update. Baka is back with a new stock of items. Just like last Halloween, he can be found outside of the bazaar and requires 5 levels of reputation in order to unlock all of his stock. Just like any other agent, he has weekly and daily bounties. Although daily bounties refresh every hour, so I would call them hourly bounties. Baka's stock is really nice, with some chocolate bars that grant you previously mentioned Halloween effects, military medkits, special hats, unique throwables, and unique weapons. The first one is the Halloween knife, that after multiple hits activates a random Halloween effect. The second weapon are the Nightmare Claws. This is a very obvious reference to Freddy Krueger's claws, and just like the knife, they give a random buff after a few hits. And the tip I will give you to those who watch this video till the end is that you can get the Plague Doctor set absolutely for free. And on the Techline GG website, you can get your hands on some exclusive skins and weapons if you didn't get them last year. So that was all, thank you everyone for watching, remember to like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.